La 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 la. And I'll tell you, I'll tell you for why later. 27th of January.
Wow.
It's nearly the end of January.
How do we do it?
I don't know, but we're
Did you
here.
keep yourself warm at night?
I'll put some new socks on this year. There are 3 areas in which the person who would be wise and good must be trained. The first has to do with desires and aversions, that a person may never miss the mark in desires nor fall into what repels them. The second has to do with impulses to act and not to act, and more broadly, with duty that a person may act deliberately for good reasons and not carelessly. The third has to do with freedom from deception and composure, and the whole area of judgment, the assent our mind gives to its perceptions. Of these areas, the chief and most urgent is the first, which has to do with the passions, for strong emotions arise only when we fail in our desires and aversions.
Wow.
Talking a lot about emotions and emotional stability. The reason I la-la-la'd earlier, I used to be a singer in a past life.
Did you?
I did.
Wow.
I dabbled. And before I would go out and sing on the stage, I wouldn't just roll out of bed, wake up and go, right, okay, let's go out and sing Johnny Be Good. I'd warm up.
Because that Johnny would be bad.
That would be Johnny Good. Bad. Really bad, actually. It was awful. Johnny's been in a car accident. That's the news at 10. Yeah, it wouldn't be nice for anybody. But you warm up, okay? And you warm up gently. And then over time, you do things a bit more vigorous with your voice to get to those points where you can sing the higher notes. And I think it's the same in sales. Like, you can't just expect... I've worked in jobs, mate, where I used to get on the phone. I'd get into the office at 8:58. I'd have a banana at 8:59. 9 o'clock, I'm dialing. I'm not mentally there. I'm not physically there. I'm not like present. But yet you expect to just be able to be in the day.
Yeah, exactly. A bit of warm up in the morning with your peers, I think, can go a long way. But if you haven't got that luxury, a bit of what am I trying to achieve today, and have different games that you're trying to play. Have the game of the obvious game here is I want the meeting, but the meeting is the byproduct of the job done well.
Yeah.
I want the conversations. Fine, I can control that somewhat by my output. Maybe we've got some evidence there. But I think really it's what other games can I play within that keep this, so I've got to be alert and present in each call. It might be, can I do 10 labels today that I'm really happy with, and I'm going to be ticking those off as I go. Can every time someone says send me an email, can I at least 2 or 3 times confidently handle that objection? Well, there's another 2-3 games that I'm playing. So actually your emotional fulfillment is then existing in a few different planes of the conversation. And I think that's it then. So when I sit down, what is my purpose here? Obviously, I'm caffeinated. I've done whatever I need to do. But what is my purpose, at least for this 2-hour calling block or this set of discovery calls? What am I trying to do? Think about a few different games that you can play.
Yeah. And you might not have the luxury of a sales leader. Like if you're a solo salesperson, it's going to be harder. But if there's a few of you, we do a lot of like task-based games with our team. So, okay, I'm going to stand here, you're going to throw objections at me, I'm going to try and handle them. Or you're going to be really, really rude to me and I'm going to see how I feel or how I handle it. There are so many different things where you say, these are my weak spots, these are my blind spots. Let's create a game out of it. Let's practice it. Let's warm up for the day. You can't just expect yourself to switch on and be that salesperson. There's an interesting thing about what can you do in between sales calls. So it might be a bit of a conflicting one, but you've just had a big rejection, okay? You've really failed. You feel like the headset might be coming off. There are 2 trains of thoughts. There are take 5-10 minutes, go and call yourself off. Yeah, if it's a big rejection and it's kind of like shook you, fine. If it's just a normal one and you're a bit like, I wonder what's happened there. I wonder, can I learn from something in this minute? I know that you've got some views on that. What does that look like for you?
Your brain wires itself up in accordance with the habits, right? So I've seen it before. The people who, after the bad call, need to take the headset off, need to have a bit of time to reflect in the room with everyone. And often what that means is everyone gets distracted every 20 minutes when a bad conversation happens. My belief is we're playing a game, right? So if we were playing a game of football and you kicked the ball wrong or the other team scored, You don't suddenly stop the game and go, can we just have a little second here? Can we just stop and bring the ball back here and let's just think about how we could have played that ball differently? There's a time for reflection and there's also a time for playing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and with new starters, they go through the training camp, they do the 2 weeks training, and when they're on the phones, I say, I don't want you to be coming off and ask me questions. Do the heavy lifting, do the reps, because then what you can come to me and say is, in 10 calls that I've made, this has happened. Okay, well, cool, we can discuss that. But if it's just once, well, is that a one-off? Oh, they said they couldn't take a call at the moment because the kettle's on the blink. How would I handle that objection with the kettle being on the blink? Well, let's see if that's something that comes up a lot and we can actually start doing it. Actually, you've not got that much evidence of being on the phone. You don't know what you're strong at. You don't know what you're going to struggle with. Do the heavy lifting. Get loads and loads of reps in, and then you can say, right, when I look out on it and I see these are the kind of calls, these are the kind of people I struggle with, these are the kind of objections that I'm not able to handle, then we can dissect it and we can get you better tomorrow, and we can reflect on it at the end of the day, or we can look at it at lunchtime, or I can listen in the morning and give you a pep talk before you get on the phones. It's about having that knowledge. What are the techniques that you use or would advise salespeople when it comes to handling their emotions?
Well, you've sparked a thought in me there, and it's something that we do encourage in our business. There's 2 key reflection points in the day. Well, 3, but where it's team reflection. First thing in the morning and just before we start in the afternoon. Yeah? So there's going to be that thing of what we're trying to achieve. But at that point, sometimes people are going to bring problems to the table. Now, in order to bring a problem to the table in our business, you need to answer 3 questions. What is the problem? What have I done to fix it? And why has that not worked? And often what happens is when you get to what have I done to fix it, you can actually solve the problem yourself anyway. You go, right, I'm aware of the problem. I'm cognizant of the problem. I'm going to try this to fix it next time. And when you get there and you do that, oh, right, that's worked. I've fixed it. So often you're finding that you fix the problem before you get there. You value things as a human being. You value things that you fixed yourself much more than someone else helping you and fixing them. And part of your bias is going, I don't know if that would work for me. If you've been able to figure it out yourself, there's a lot more evidence there, a lot more intrinsic belief in, okay, maybe I can do it, maybe I can work through it.
And I remember when we instilled it and people would be like, wait a minute, you're making me answer these questions so that I solve the problem myself. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. I've been Jack Frimpson.
I've been Zach Thompson.
Remember, you will die.
Oh, is that Chris Tarrant?